This guy is Dwight D. Eisenhower. A lot of you may know him, a lot of you may not know him. Now, he was the leader of the Allied forces in World War II and he led the Allied forces to victory in the war. Later on, he became the President of the United States of America. So, yeah, I mean, pretty big personality, pretty heavy personality, so to say. Up to a point in his life, he used to be a very heavy smoker. He used to smoke around 3 to 4 packs a year. And this habit remained with him for a good 38 years. Until a point in time when one fine day, Dwight D. Eisenhower gave himself the order quit smoking. He gave himself the order quit smoking, and unlike the rest of us, unlike the most of us, he actually quit smoking from that day. He never touched a cigarette his entire life. And this is quite in contrast from a lot of us, who swear, who, take resolutions to quit on a bad habit and we just fail, right? We also give ourselves order. Let's say we are suffering from a bad habit, let's say smoking, drinking, social media, anything. We may give ourselves order, no more this thing anymore, no more of smoking anymore, no more of social media anymore. But more often than not, we fail, right? We stumble back to our bad habits. Whereas Mr. Eisenhower actually had the commitment, had the audacity to stick to the order that he gave himself. And that is the main thing. Now let's talk a little bit about bad habits, right? The problem with bad habits is not that they are actually bad, right? I mean, of course it is a problem that they are bad, but that is not the entire problem. If let's say alcoholism is a bad habit, then we can say that, probably having alcohol once or twice in a month or very occasionally, having alcohol very occasionally, it will do you no harm. I mean, drinking alcohol can be bad, but it is bad when it is done in excess. Problem happens when alcohol tries and exert control over you, right? This is when problem happens, when the bad habits, when the so-called bad habits are exerting influence over you and are making us helpless in front of them. I'll give you another example. Richard Feynman, right? He was a very famous physicist, very popular, very famous, very hardworking. One fine day, he was working in his lab. He had a craving to have some alcohol in middle of the day. He had a craving. He paused, he reflected on the craving, and from that day onwards, he quits alcohol altogether. The problem was not isolated to alcohol. It was not that he was thinking that alcohol is bad. At that point of time, his main problem was that alcohol was exerting its influence over him. Alcohol was making him crave alcohol. That was the problem. Alcohol per se was not the problem. The craving, the control that alcohol had over him via those cravings was the main problem. So what he did, he quit. So the point of the video is, stop being a slave to these bad habits. Why am I using this term slave? Is because, see, in slavery, the master used to exert complete control over the subject, over the slaves, right? Here, bad habits are the master and they are trying to exert their influence over you, the slaves. But whereas those unfortunate people did not have the option of abandoning slavery, of running away from slavery, of quitting slavery, but you do have the option to quit being a slave. It's completely in your hands. So if you want to go cold turkey, immediately stop a habit, stop it. If you need some help, then seek that help. But at any cost, just stop those bad habits. The key message of this video is that we should not be slaves to our bad habits and we should exert influence to eliminate the cravings that happen because of those bad habits. So stop being a slave. Stop allowing the bad habits to exert any control over you via these cravings and live a life wherein you control everything. Not your cravings, not your bad habits. This is it for this video. I'll see you again in the next one. Till then, bye-bye, take care and have a great day ahead.